So there are many ways of dealing with those deeper life issues. You know, there's cosmology, right? Cosmology, mythology, which kind of deals with the spirituality of what goes on, in one's spirit. And so when interacting with others, especially when engaging in intimate relations with others, you know, even when it comes to to children and adults, how we all exist even before we come upon the face of the earth, how we're sure of our salvation and that there really is a heaven, that we're going to, as for those of us that believe in Jesus. And as for those that don't, well, they kind of also we also have different ways of dealing with their spirituality. Those of us that aren't spiritual, of course, then we just say we're in our carnality, we're in our flesh, we're pleasing ourselves, doing what we wish, sometimes even making money, having children, doing whatever. The world is what it is. The world, and its sin, with or without sin, the world, human beings, right? Even to say that one is a human being sometimes isn't even enough in some cases, because you have these how do I say these how do I say it? These beings, these entities, these spirits, right? Because they only have one mind, one body, so it's like they are claimants upon souls of mankind, you know. And to some extent, if you don't, if your own wisdom, your own power is not enough, you have to go and get wisdom for real, or go and take power, for real. You understand? And it's like this the issues of language are not always the only way to deal with these problems. I mean, well, I guess just to some extent, maybe all I had to do was learn some Yoruba, right? All I had to do was really learn my language. But then, of course, even within the English language, right? There are all sorts of semantics and syntax and meaning. And of course, concerning consciousness, you can go into different altered states of consciousness and even be aware of other minds, and other interpretations of whatever you're reading, or whatever you're seeing and whatever you're experiencing that can give you meaning. Now, existentialism it's really quite something, because that's when you're questioning you are questioning, or you are being questioned about who you are and every part of who you are, including your physiology, your soul, your mind, even your sexuality. Say, sometimes language can really help. As per Wittgenstein. Not that I want to learn German. You could also speak some English. Is a You have some guiding forces, some philosophers and philosophies that can help me out, right? But it's not the same as theology, even though they even had their own opinions about God and life. Say, you know, prayer and worship is kind of different. Now, on the prayer side of things, I can try to pray, but I don't pray that much. Okay, maybe it's the intellectual within me that's kind of not maybe preventing that sometimes. But I do pray, and as per worship, praise and worship, that comes more naturally. But I said some power is another thing. The ability to do and to be, right. As per the will of God is, I guess it is what it is, but submission to the will of God. But the will of man, hmm. They can't. Well, that's just if you want to use a UFC fight between a fighter named Gabriel Babin or whatever and Chaos Williams, right? And speak of what is chaos. Well, in a war, I guess the civilians are the ones that experience the chaos. The fighters, the generals and the fighters and the soldiers, they're not exactly experiencing chaos and like that, because they're the ones conducting the war and conducting the fight. But I suppose the civilians they're the ones that don't know what's happening. I guess chaos means something different to the civilian. But as for Chaos Williams and Gabriel, or whatever, you want to imagine him as the actual angel, right, versus man, and representing God's will, man's will. You know, you want to put it to sleep. That's a problem. He's still fighting. Okay, man will always fight. I guess God will always fight too. So that's on one realm of things. concerning even systems and learning, and is that we're always learning. We're never going to stop learning. As per Ecclesiastes, there's gonna be no end to the writing of books. Okay, the books will be you're gonna keep on writing books, keep on researching, keep on learning. Okay, but then it's also the completion of a formal education. Even then, you still keep on learning. Well, it's also something special about completing this education and learning something specific, as in deep knowledge in a specific field, not just skin deep, you know things here and there, but no degree. So I would like to accomplish something. You know, uh, I am looking forward to tomorrow, of course. Uh, Life doesn't always have to be mystical, and and then there's just silence, right? And then I want me to speak the unspeakable. I mean, for now, I'm not, you know, dealing with those other things. As per metaphysics, right, and cosmology and ontology, all those things, is as per what was really going on. The you know you know penetrating the vagina with your dick, penis, cock, wiener. I don't want to say dishonorable manhood. My manhood is not dishonorable. Oh, versus digital penetration with your fingers. Well, that wouldn't constitute involuntary sexual activity. Then would that create involuntary imaginations? Then the stigma of living as a sexual offender. So so what? Sophie. Well, it's not like if you were never committed well a crime, then why should I be living under the accusation of it? Maybe it's for sympathizing with someone that committed a crime and wishing them well, even though they were prosecuted and all that. You say, as per the sufferings of Christ, I don't wishing well those that even those that do the worst things. That's something that Christ can do, but that'll take a lot of it's a lot of time. If I want to take on the burdens of people that have been convicted of sexual assault and on different and even murder and all those other things. If I want to take on the burden of those people for some time, that'll be quite something. But I guess I do have a purpose. I don't have to suffer. It's just that's one way of thinking of things. As per Satan and the devil. I don't even like saying the devil. I'd rather say the enemy. Okay, the enemy the enemy can be confusing if you're in their world. Now, I'm not in the world of the Satanism and the Satanic Bible and even incantations. I thought the philosophy of language would kind of deal with incantations. I'm not sure exactly sure what they do. They like put your mind, I guess, in a magical world where I guess you'd kind of be thinking like the enemy. But then would I be a Christian? Even when I thought I was still trying to be Christian, be a believer in Christ, there were still other issues going on. Which is to say, that's a different form of deliverance. Now, even as for the deliverance, I guess maybe other people would have wanted a more dramatic thing going on, but I guess it was the devil is just existent in the books. The devil's just in the books. Okay, the devil's in the details, the devil's in the books, in the calculations. So if I can be devilish without being a devil, I guess. What do you mean by devil? A handsome devil? I'm a Christian. But in any case, the evil spirits they're just in the books. Sometimes if they're not in the books, I guess, well, be actual committing a crime would that make me would you be demonically oppressed or would you be an evil spirit if you commit a crime? Well, who knows? You still be a human being if you commit a crime. And then as for going to church, it's like some praise and worship music. It reminds me of what I've been through, right? And my philosophers, right? Am I a philosopher? That's really quite a question. It's about managing time and also kind of accepting what it is God has to say about my life and about yours too. You have a life, right? So why don't you go live your life, eh? I've been living my life, okay? I've been living my life. It's like it's just that I guess something has to start. Will it start? Will it stop? Start, stop. I mean, we'll get things. We'll move things through. Meaning, meaning shouldn't just how you use it. It should be what the dictionary definition term. Okay, so what's the definition of man? What's the measure of a man? Right? What are you made of? Have the world on your shoulders? The weight of the world on your shoulders. Hey, I think I can do some of these things. I'll be concerned about sometimes, raw intelligence, raw IQ, like my problem solving skills, my capacity to actually learn, and the way I learn, just the raw freaking problem solving skills, and then this crystallized intelligence, fluid intelligence, crystallized intelligence, like the actual amount of knowledge that I can learn, and my my capabilities, and it's like there's that, and then there's actual knowledge. Mm-hmm. And then there's also, I guess, wisdom, like insight into the deeper things of life, the values, your values and beliefs, questioning reality, even trying to rework your mind and your reasoning and your logic. I think to some extent I was trying to rework, not reevaluate my. Maybe somebody else was trying to give me a different set of values, but I guess I was trying to do the same things that people did in the spirit and with their magic. If you can do things like that, let me try on my own in my own power, right? So I was trying to rework myself. The overman, right? Well, I mean, concerning even magic, sometimes I say that things are only what they are, right? That there's no spirits or magic going on. But sometimes I guess, well, I have to recognize when we're doing metaphysics, and when we're just doing I guess practical living, or even pragmatism. They be trying to be stoic. Yeah, I maybe have to learn more about that. I like hedonism better. Hey, life is good. Not only that, I'm believing for the future, right? We're all believing together. I guess we're gonna be moving together. And don't forget, like this camera is showing us more of a reflection. Okay, my right is actually my left, and my left is actually my right. Don't be confused. That's not. It's unintentional. I'm not trying to deceive you. Uh, Enjoy.